Close your eyes and picture this: a summer evening in the 1960s, the sun setting low, and a line of polished cars parked outside the local diner. Chrome glitters, radios hum, and teenagers sip milkshakes while leaning against their rides. Back then, cars weren't just a way to get from one place to another. They were rolling works of art, filled with little details that made every drive feel special. But just like soda fountains and drive-in theaters, many of those unique features faded away. Some were replaced by safer technology, others were abandoned as tastes changed. What remains is a treasure chest of memories, those special touches we'll never see again on modern cars. Today we're looking at 20 vintage car features we'll never see again. Let's take a ride down memory lane and revisit the first 10. Number 1. Towering tailfins. Nothing captured the excitement of the space age like the towering tailfins of the late 1950s. Inspired by rockets and jet planes, these soaring designs gave cars a futuristic look, making every driveway feel like a launch pad. Cadillac's 1959 fins reached their peak, sharp, dramatic, and unforgettable. By the mid-1960s, though, tailfins fell out of style. Automakers shifted toward cleaner, boxier lines, and regulations discouraged extravagant designs. Still, when we see a fin car today, it's like spotting a shooting star from the golden age of American optimism. Number 2. Suicide doors. In the 1930s and 1940s, stepping into a car often meant swinging open a rear-hinged suicide door. These elegant doors made entering and exiting easy, especially for passengers in long, luxurious sedans like the Lincoln Continental. They gave cars a regal presence, the kind you'd see in old Hollywood films. But their beauty came with danger. If not latched properly, the wind could catch them, swinging them open while driving. Safety concerns eventually forced them off the road. Today, they remain a symbol of glamour, forever tied to an age of chauffeur driven grace. Number 3. Vent windows. Before air conditioning was standard, drivers relied on small triangular vent windows. They flipped open to catch the breeze, keeping cabins cool on long summer drives. Smokers loved them too, using them as built-in ash outlets. By the late 1970s, these clever little windows disappeared, replaced by full pane glass and mechanical air systems. Today, when you see one at a car show, it feels like rediscovering a clever trick from a simpler time. Number 4. Front bench seats. Once upon a time, the front of a car was more like a sofa than two separate chairs. Bench seats stretched across the cabin, allowing 3 people to sit comfortably up front. Teenagers at drive-ins loved sliding close on dates, and families enjoyed the cozy togetherness during road trips. As safety standards advanced, bucket seats and center consoles became the norm. They added seat belts, storage, and airbags, but the intimacy of the bench seat disappeared. For those who remember, nothing quite compares to that shared closeness behind the wheel. Number 5. Curb feelers. In the 1950s and 1960s, some cars came equipped with little springy wires near the wheels called curb feelers. When you pulled up too close to the curb, they scraped with a telltale sound, saving your white wall tires and shiny hubcaps from damage. As drivers grew more confident and cars smaller, curb feelers fell out of fashion. Today, they're a quirky reminder of an era when even small details added charm to the driving experience. Number 6. Chrome everywhere. Few things scream vintage like gleaming chrome. From dashboards to door handles, mirrors to bumpers, cars of the mid-century sparkled like jewelry under the sun. Chrome wasn't just decoration, it was a status symbol, a shiny badge of pride. But chrome is heavy, expensive, and prone to rust. By the late 1970s, plastic trim and lighter metals replaced it. Still, for those who grew up watching sunlight dance off chrome fenders, that shine will always bring back memories of Sunday drives. Number 7. Push button transmissions. For a short while in the 1950s and early 1960s, shifting gears felt like pushing a TV remote. Chrysler introduced dashboard push buttons for transmissions, giving cars a space-age feel. With the press of a button, you were off. No gear lever required. The idea was futuristic, but it wasn't practical. Complications and customer confusion led automakers back to traditional shifters. Today, these cars stand as reminders of a time when designers dared to dream boldly about the future. Number 8. Ashtrays and lighters. In every car. Once upon a time, every car had ashtrays, sometimes more than one, along with a built-in lighter. Smoking was woven into daily life, and road trips often meant a pack of cigarettes on the dashboard. Families, businessmen, even teenagers cruising the strip all lit up without a second thought. As health warnings grew louder and smoking declined, these features quietly disappeared. Today, they've been replaced by cup holders and USB chargers. Looking back, it's striking how much culture has shifted in just a few decades. Number 9, Zen running board. In the 1920s and 1930s, stepping into a car meant first stepping onto a running board. These sturdy platforms stretched along the side, helping passengers climb in with ease. For kids, they were the ultimate place to sneak a quick ride when the car rolled slowly down the street. As cars became lower and more streamlined, running boards faded away. Trucks and SUVs still use them today, but for vintage cars, they'll always represent a blend of style, utility, and childhood mischief. Number 10, Zen fender skirts. Few details gave a car more elegance than fender skirts. These smooth panels covered the rear wheels, giving cars a sleek, elongated profile. They were especially popular in the 1940s and 1950s, turning every drive into a fashion statement. By the 1970s, they fell out of favor, dismissed as outdated. But for anyone who remembers, fender skirts will always bring back the image of cars dressed to impress, gliding down Main Street on a Friday night. Number 11, a hideaway headlights. Back in the 1960s and 1970s, cars like the Chevrolet Corvette and Dodge Charger came with hideaway headlights that flipped up or slid open at the flick of a switch. It was like a car winking at you, stylish, sleek, and a little bit magical. But the mechanisms were expensive and prone to breaking. By the 1980s, safety and cost concerns ended their run. Still, whenever you see those headlights snap open, it's like watching a piece of mechanical theater from a bygone era. Number 12, in woodgrain paneling. The station wagon of the 1960s and 1970s often wore Fox woodgrain paneling on its sides. Families packed into these woodies for road trips, with luggage strapped to the roof and the dog in the back. The wood finish gave cars a homey, almost furniture-like warmth. By the 1980s, the look felt dated, and cheaper plastic trims took over. Today, woodgrain wagons spark instant nostalgia, reminding many of childhood vacations and family adventures. Number 13, Zen opera windows. In the 1970s, many luxury cars had small oval or circular opera windows on the rear roof pillars. They didn't do much for visibility, but they added a touch of elegance, like jewelry on a car. Lincoln, Chrysler, and Oldsmobile made them popular, turning cars into rolling ballrooms. As tastes shifted to cleaner lines, opera windows quietly disappeared, but they remain a quirky detail, frozen in the disco era of American style. Number 14, hand crank windows. Before power windows became standard, every kid knew the arm workout of rolling down a window by hand. The sound of the crank, the feel of the handle. It was part of the ride. Kids in the back seat loved playing with them, up and down, until parents finally said, "That's enough!" Power windows ended the tradition by the 1990s, making cranks a rare sight. Still, spotting one today is like finding a time capsule from simpler drives. Number 15, a gas tank behind the license plate. For many 1950s and 1960s cars, the fuel cap was hidden behind the rear license plate. Drivers would flip it down to reveal the filler, a clever, stylish way to keep the car's lines clean. It felt like a secret door only car owners knew. Later, safety standards and design changes moved fuel caps to the side. While more practical, they lacked the charm of that hidden fueling ritual. Number 16, Continental kits. Some cars once carried their spare tire outside, mounted in a decorative case at the rear bumper. Known as Continental kits, these made cars look longer, sleeker, and a bit more luxurious. They were the ultimate style accessory of the 1950s. By the 1960s, they faded as designs grew simpler and people wanted more trunk space. Today, they live on as symbols of an age when even a spare tire was dressed to impress. Number 17, and pull-out dash radios. Long before Bluetooth and touchscreens, some cars in the 1960s and 1970s offered pull-out radios. Owners could slide the unit out and take it inside to protect against theft. For music lovers, it was both practical and stylish, keeping rock and roll close at hand. As anti-theft technology improved, these quirky radios disappeared. But for anyone who remembers, sliding a radio into your bag felt like carrying a piece of the car with you. Number 18, tone paint jobs. Tone paint jobs were common in the 1950s, But some cars took it further with tri-tone combinations. Pastel blues, creamy whites, and bold reds swirled together in dazzling patterns. Parking lots looked like rolling art shows, each car showing off its personality. By the late 1960s, simpler solid colors took over. But seeing a tri-tone classic today instantly transports you back to an era when cars were as colorful as the jukebox tunes they cruised past. Number 19. The hood ornaments. From leaping cats to soaring birds, hood ornaments once gave cars their signature personality. Brands like Packard, Pontiac, and Cadillac turned them into shining mascots, proudly leading the way down the road. By the 1980s, safety regulations and theft concerns ended their reign. Today, they're museum pieces. Small sculptures that remind us of a time when even the front of a car told a story. Number 20. Zan manual chokes in older cars. Starting the engine on a cold morning often meant pulling out a choke knob by hand. It gave drivers a sense of control, adjusting the engine's fuel mix before the car roared to life. It was a ritual, a little dance between driver and machine. With modern fuel injection, manual chokes vanished. Cars became easier to start, but some missed that feeling of being directly connected to the heartbeat of their engine. When you look back at these vintage car features, it's clear that cars weren't just machines. They were experiences. They had quirks, personalities, and little details that made every ride feel special. From hideaway headlights that winked at the world to wood-paneled wagons filled with family memories, each feature told a story. Sure, today's cars are safer, faster, and more efficient. But something magical was lost when simplicity and charm gave way to screens and automation. Those little touches, the chrome fins, the hood ornaments, the crank windows, weren't just design choices. They were symbols of an era when cars represented freedom, adventure, and dreams on wheels. And maybe that's why we miss them. Because remembering these features isn't just about cars. It's about remembering who we were when the road felt endless and the future was wide open.